Hi, boys and girls. I'm going to read to you today. Today's selection, How the Left Stole the Election. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Marquita Show podcast, a podcast where I talk about everything from politics to pop culture and everything in between. And if you are not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for post notifications so you get notified every single time that I post. So in case you've been under a rock, there was an election on Tuesday. Today is Thursday, and we still don't have any results. It's been a debacle, a disaster, a catastrophe, and anything else you can think of. We are at a loss for words, people. I cannot believe that this is happening in the United States of America. We're actually witnessing history here. It's crazy. And I've just been watching the news. I've been watching Fox and I've been watching CNN. Both of them are horrendous. This is really, really sad. I feel like our election has been compromised. And I just can't wrap my head around it. I don't know if you guys are feeling the same way. Please let me know in the comments below how you're feeling. What do you think about it? Express yourself, because that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm just going to talk and get it out because, again, I'm so at a loss. I'm confused. I've never seen this happen. I don't think this has ever happened in the history of our elections where it's actually been compromised and it seems to be proof. Now, I live in the state of Georgia, and if you didn't know, somehow or another we wound up being a battleground state. I have no clue how that happened because typically we're a red state. The last time we went blue was during the Clinton administration, which I think was like 92. And that was the last time that we've been blue. And I just think it's very odd that they haven't called Georgia yet. Georgia is leaning Trump, clearly. I don't think we have that many more votes to count. It's clearly going for Trump, but they have yet to call it. This is what I find strange about the election. And it's not just Georgia. It's also Pennsylvania. And it's also North Carolina. And they also did the same thing in Florida. But it was just getting blatantly obvious in Florida that he was winning because he was winning by a huge margin. They couldn't help but call it because it wasn't close enough. Now, I think some polls said that Trump was like losing in Florida, but he actually had overwhelming support in Florida. And you can tell the battleground states were the ones I felt like that were going to be more susceptible to voter fraud. I think we have definitely experienced some voter fraud in this election. If you guys think so, let me know in the comments below. I think there was some definite voter fraud going on, specifically in the battleground states, in Georgia, in Florida. They weren't able to succeed, but definitely in Wisconsin and Michigan, because there's just so many things that just don't sit well with me. So again, they were not willing to call Trump states. They haven't even called Alaska, clearly. And so that was another red flag that let me know that something was up when you're not calling Alaska, and Alaska clearly goes red every year. I don't think Biden stand a chance, but yet you're not calling it. So we go to bed on election night. We wake up to a disaster. Trump's winning before we go to bed. After we go to bed, here's Biden up. How the hell did that happen? Now, there's several allegations going on. For one, I think was it Michigan or Wisconsin? I think it was Wisconsin. There were 100,000 or so, 120, 130,000 ballots found. And apparently they all went for Biden. But then they made a correction, said they added an extra 0. But still, what are the odds? What are the odds of 12,000 or 13,000 votes going to Biden? not a single one for Trump, that is very suspicious. I don't care what side you're on. You just don't discover ballots that many and a group and that many go for one side. I just don't think that's realistic. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then you had Sharpie Gate, where in conservative areas, they were given Sharpies to mark their ballots with, and the machines wouldn't read them and they were getting thrown out. That is crazy to me. That is ridiculous to me. Then in Georgia, just so happened we have a water main break that night, election night, in one of the precincts, and they had to evacuate the building. What? Just so happened in Georgia, a battleground state. The other thing, Wisconsin, just so happens a battleground state. Something's not adding up. If you ask me, something in the milk ain't clean. Just so happened. And also, I think in another county in Georgia, there was a software glitch. Just so happens a software glitch. Now, mind you, Texas, California, both of those states have way larger populations, but they were able to get the job done. Why? Just so easy. But all these battleground states seem to be having an issue. Something external going on. Whether it be the Sharpie thing, the discovering of, a large number of ballots, or some kind of weird anomaly like a water main breaking. So all of this is just not adding up. And I think they also found more votes in Georgia. I'm like, where are these votes coming from? Where are these votes coming from? I feel like this was planned from the get-go. I feel like it was a setup, especially in Georgia. I think they're holding out for Georgia because they knew something was going to happen. I felt like they held out on a lot of states. Well, not a lot of states, but the battleground states, the North Carolina, the Pennsylvania, because they had something planned. I feel like the left had something planned. So we're going to hold off. We're going to hold off. We're going to hold off. We're not going to call it, even though Trump's leading. And they were calling Biden states before even 1% of the voting was in. I think it was Virginia. Was it Virginia or somewhere? It was 60% Trump, 40% Biden. They called it for Biden at 40%. And all the precincts weren't even reporting. So how did you manage to call that, but you couldn't call Florida when Trump clearly had a lead? You couldn't call Pennsylvania when Trump clearly had a lead. Like, that doesn't make sense. Alaska clearly had a lead. Goes Republican every year, but you didn't call it. That is very suspicious to me. We really need to look into some type of election reform now after this is over, because this is just completely ridiculous. I think it was a setup. I think it was plotted by the left from the beginning. There are so many clues that hint it, because if you didn't notice, the left was pushing mail-in, absentee, mail-in, absentee. Typically, Republicans show up on election day. Democrats, the left, tend to they come out in larger numbers for early voting, for absentee voting, whatever. And now in this instance, I think this is where Trump kind of messed up a little bit, because he did tell his supporters to vote in person, because he knew they were going to cheat through the mail. So when it came down to it, they could easily say, well, Trump told his supporters not to vote through mail or by mail. So, of course, now they're saying, of course, the bulk of the mail-in and absentee are for Biden. We told them to, while the president told his supporters to come in person. So that's why there's so many mail-ins, so many absentees for Biden. It was a setup. Guys. They told their supporters to do that in droves. So it wouldn't make it hard for them to sneak a few extra in there. It wouldn't make it hard, because guess what? They told the bulk of their people to mail in. So they just threw a few extra in. Why not? So yeah, this is just ridiculous. But I do still think Trump has a chance. Currently, he is leading in North Carolina, in Georgia, in Pennsylvania. If he's able to take those along with Alaska, now Nevada is very close. 2 days, the number hasn't changed. I don't know if they stopped counting votes or what. But the number hasn't changed. It's been at 588,000 for Biden and 580 for Trump. It's only 8,000 votes that separate them. So there's still a chance. So please, my Trump supporters, my conservative people, don't lose hope. There is still a chance. Nevada it's really close, and I think I don't know how many of their precincts are reporting, but there's still a chance. But with all the cheating and the voter fraud and the anomalies going on, it's gonna be an uphill battle. It's not gonna be easy, but I really have lost a little bit of respect for my for the election process. I feel like everybody should have to vote in person. If something is so valuable to you, you do anything to do it. And if you value your vote, you'll go in person on election day. I can see if you're disabled or you have some kind of physical disability and you're not able to get out, I can understand that. But if you're an able-bodied American, there's no reason why you should not be able to get out and vote safely. You're always talking about the mask. Put your mask on. Y'all so scared of coronavirus, but we ain't heard about coronavirus on the news for 2 days now. Like Trump said, one day it'll magically disappear. I'm just saying. I don't know about y'all, but the news I've been watching, I haven't heard not one peep about coronavirus, about a spike, about any of that. So it just makes you think. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. As always, I want to know your point of view. What do you have to say? What do you think about everything that's going on? This mess, the debacle, the cheating, all of that. Put it in the comments below. As always, guys, I love you. One vibe, one tribe. Deuces.